So this morning, this gray morning that we're having here, I want to talk to you about measuring or measurement, knowing your numbers. Seems so elementary in every business, and yet not enough people actually are able to find the discipline. And that is the main key here, to measure themselves, and also what are we measuring in our performance. So I want to start by recommending a great book, great business book. And there are many, books about business, but not all of them are something you can learn from. Some of them are, they remain on a very superficial level. So the one I want to talk to you about it's an old one. It's called The Winner Within by Pat Riley, famous basketball coach and an owner. And The Winner Within talks about his experience, Pat Riley's experience with the Lakers, with the Knicks. And there's one thing about measuring. When he came to become the coach of the New York Knicks, so the Knicks weren't a very good team. They're not a very good team right now either. How surprising. And they were lacking on talent. And as you know, in the NBA, there's a limitation on how talented you can become in a short period of time because of the salary cap and the draft, things like that. So he decided to turn them into the best defensive unit in the NBA. Now, how do you do this? How do you preach and teach defense? Well, brilliant decision making was to start measuring things that do not appear in the regular stat sheet of an NBA game. Usually you measure assists and points and free throws and percentages. And he started to measure, and his assistants would measure everything during practices and of course during games. They would measure things like hustle, going back to defense on a fast break, jumping on loose balls, putting hands in the passing lane to interrupt the opposition's passes. That's things that they would get graded on, measured on, and congratulated on. And amazingly enough, everything that was measured actually improved. So that's the greatest lesson from this episode. And we all know it about life. There's a famous quote by Lou Holtz, famous football coach of Notre Dame University. Lou Holtz said, "Whatever gets recognized gets repeated." Okay, so gets recognized, gets measured. For me, it's very similar. If you measure something, if you recognize something, it gets repeated, it improves. So the question is, first of all, what do we measure? And then how do we measure it in our business? And I'm a firm believer that what you need to measure are your actions, not necessarily your results. Well, of course you have to measure your results, but that will come automatically to you because results are achievements. They can be a result that translate into cash flow, into actual transactions, sales, money, if you're in real estate, listings and things like that. It doesn't really matter which business you are in. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be measuring these things. Of course you should, but we don't measure and we don't put enough effort on measuring actions because, and here's the big difference, actions you can control. Results are, the consequence of many things. Some you can control, some you can't. Market conditions, customer behavior, pricing, opposition, and it's going to be so many things. But if you can control things to 100% of control, and you do them religiously, through measuring them and making sure that you put a spotlight on the things you want to improve, and I'm talking to you both as a business owner, as a manager of other people, or you want to improve their performance, start measuring what you want to improve. So I'll give you an example from real estate. Let's say that I'm an agent and I want to improve my business. Well, the first thing I need is more listings. So what do I need? More listing presentations. I need to put myself in front of homeowners and sell them my service. How do I do that? Well, there are micro steps you need to take. You need to promote yourself. You need to go outside and maybe door knock, hand out flyers, calling people for sale by owners. All of these small things are measurable. And these are the things you want to measure. And once you start measuring all these things and you put, targets for yourselves, weekly, monthly, even daily targets, you will see these things improve. And the results will improve because that's the rule, that's the big numbers. If you do things enough times and you do it consistently, they will bring results at the end of the day. This is what you need to do. You need to decide on a few, what is very, very cool word these days, KPIs, right? Key performance indicators. You need to decide on these KPIs, but please make these KPIs your actions and not your results. And the results will follow. You do the action, the result will follow. Now, the second problem is the discipline of measuring, because people like to, just be in the moment, just work. It's too technical, it's too bureaucratical to start measuring things. And they could not be more wrong. Today there are so many systems. You need to choose the right CRM system, a customer relations management system. to help you. Everything is mobile, and you can track your own activities very, very easily these days with very little intervention, with very little deliberation, and you can do everything on mobile. You just have to do it. And I'm going to talk to you in a different video about measuring and about discipline, okay, and how difficult it is to find that discipline to run a business in a successful manner, which is probably the most difficult trait or a difficult quality for you to generate, to conjure up in yourself, is the discipline. Measuring is a big part of discipline, of how you force yourself to become professional. You have to know your numbers, you have to know your conversion rates, you have to know how many leads you have coming in, how many you convert into sales, what is the value of each lead, what is your cost per lead, cost per sale. All of these things, they change the way you run your business because they help you make smart decisions, not by the seat of your pants decisions, which are a great recipe to losing your business, but calculated decisions. So again, measure actions over results, okay? And just be committed to measuring. And if you cannot measure everything at once, it's too much for you, then start by choosing 1 or 2 things that you will be measuring consistently for the next month, okay? 2 weeks. After that, elaborate and expand, okay, on your measurements. But start small, baby steps, right? To improve performance, we always have to take baby steps. Make a small decision to measure something very particular, and then you develop on that and start measuring more and more things. And this is how you grow your business step by step in a disciplined manner and in a successful manner. Have a great week.